Insurance underwriting is an interesting science. It's the process of an insurance company trying to figure out how much to charge you for the insurance coverage you want to buy based on the likelihood of you dying within the term of the policy. There are a number of factors that have historically been used by underwriters to determine that likelihood of an early death. Age is the biggest one. The older you are, the more likely you are to pass away. Gender is huge. Any demographic slice, the men are more likely to die than women. If you smoke, drink heavily, or abuse drugs, if you have a family history of diabetes or other diseases, if you're over or underweight on your body mass index. But an interesting shift has taken place over the last few years with the advent of smart wearables, of activity trackers in things like Apple Watches and Garmins. The insurance companies have been able to collect massive amounts of data associated with basic daily activity and correlate that with the other factors of the likelihood of a claim. And it ends up that something as simple as the average number of steps a person takes in a day is absolutely massively more indicative of the likelihood of an early death than almost every other factor that we've been using, more so than gender, more so than smoking and drugs, more so than blood pressure and diabetes. Daily physical activity is second only to age in the strongest indicators of the likelihood of an early death. Now, I know my stats class, correlation is not the same as causation. Someone who is severely overweight or diabetic or heavy smoker or drug user are less likely to do things like track their daily steps and report it back to a big corporation, or even to be active in the first place. But this is still interesting because I think it's the beginning of a trend. I think you're going to see more and more insurance companies leaning on these sort of passive monitoring indicators with all the data that we are collecting on our behalf, whether we know it or not, through things like smartwatches and smartphones. And these insurance companies are going to use that data to predict the likelihood of us making a claim. And for better or worse, that's what's going to determine your premium going forward.